Welcome to The Curse. I'm Mike Bauer with my co-host Kevin,
Carrara from Five Stitches Design and Fab.
host of The Curse. In today's episode, we had a special guest from Triton, Antigua. What's her? Today we had a special guest.
Antigone Sharris.
Ah, you got it.
You fucked me over.
I fucked you over, huh? Better you than me.
Yeah.
But she was a great guest, and she's an engineer teaching.
She teaches the manufacturing technologies at Triton College. Now you got me all screwed up. I thought I was just looking here for looks. I didn't think I had to talk.
Yeah, well, that's the curse. Today, that seems to be the curse. And Kevin made a new board that shows some of our upcoming projects, and we made a really cool project with pouring some aluminum, and that'll be in the episode. What you want to start over?
You've got to love Mike and Kevin. This is Shelly Ng, the producer. This episode is about the making of the makers and the curse that goes with it. Help us get the word out. Like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy.
Hi, it's Mike Bauer and Kevin Carrara. We have a special guest here today, Antigone Sharris. I got it right. Names seem to be a problem for me. She's a teacher at Triton College, teaching engineering technology focused on manufacturing, which is near and dear to my heart. We both went to Lane Tech. Actually, there's a bunch of Lane Tech alumni in my audience here today. I mean, it was a great school.
Welcome to the Curse.
Yeah,
This
welcome
is our
to the
first
curse.
live studio audience. This is not what we were expecting, but thank you for coming. And thank you, Antigone, for being here.
Thank you.
It's great to see people keep pushing that torch forward, because it's made a great career for me and my guys. And it started at a high school that really focused. Actually, you went to Lane also.
It was the same for me when I was a senior. We were in Industrial Cooperative Ed program. You and I had the same shop teacher, Mr. B.
He's a great man.
And he did the same thing for me as he did for you, get me into a company. And that started me on the path of this is what I want to do. And I did the same thing. I went to college, but I had a focus. I knew what I wanted to do. That was the difference. And that's one of the things that I observed today is that we have too many high schoolers and grade schoolers that they just don't have an idea of what manufacturing means. So I did go and start summer camps where we have kids learning how to weld. Gadget, I started a Girls Adventuring Design, Engineering, and Technology. Glow, girls learning to weld. Now it's open to girls and boys. But the idea is to try to bring it back because, as all three of us experience from talking on the side, all of our schools killed their tech programs.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. And what's happened is every time I get in an Uber, and as a young driver, I ask the driver, "Oh, what do how do you like driving for Uber or Lyft or whatever?" "Oh, it's a job, blah blah blah." I said, "What do you plan on doing?" Don't know." Have you ever thought about working in a machine shop? And it's amazing. They go, "What's that? Like an ATM machine?"
Yep.
And I'm thinking, an ATM? Oh my God. Well,
They have no clue.
no clue at all. And in Chicago, when we were growing up, there was there were shops all in the middle of
Everywhere.
a city block. At the end of a city block, there could have been a foundry
Correct.
that people in that neighborhood worked on.
And that is our biggest challenge when I've been selling manufacturing my entire career. And it is, I get parents, oh, my child's not going to do that. As if I told them to do something nasty.
How old
I get
are
that
the
reaction.
for the Glow and the
Middle schoolers.
Middle schoolers. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
we need
That's
to
great.
start with that age group because if we don't, we lose them. I'm also a mentor for the First Robotics teams, FTC, FRC, and try to help all the different schools because at the end of the day, if we don't expose the youth to this world because they're not getting it in classroom like we did, the outcome is they're not going to find this pathway until they're usually at 25, between 25 and 30. When I see them after they've spun their wheels, whatever else they did, and they're like, you know what, I really do like to build things. I like Legos. I don't like what I'm doing. My job is being replaced. They don't need this position anymore. Good old AI. consolidation of positions, all that stuff going on. They're looking for something better. And trades is like the answer, but it's like, be careful, because the for-profits will take all your money and you're paying Harvard prices for something that is not Harvard worthy. What you should do is come to your local, what I recommend, come to your local community college. If you don't get into the union right out of high school, come to us, wherever you live, and take our shop classes that we have on the career side. And that, I think, is a win-win. And I've had a lot of students go, my God, I wish I knew about this. Why couldn't I start this before? I said, well, people don't talk about it, so I have to go out there and sell it.
You almost described my entire career history in a second, basically. So I wanted to be an engineer since I was like, my father was a civil engineer for the city of Evanston. So when you're a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer, because that's what you know, right? And so I remember in high school, I had an English teacher, and he asked me, he's like, what do you want to be? I said, I want to be an engineer. He's like, you don't know what you want to be yet, because you're too young. And I always held that in the back of my mind as like, I'm going to prove to you that I'm going to be an engineer. I became an engineer. But when I turned 40, I realized I don't want to be an engineer anymore, because I had learned, at 16, you still don't know what you want to do. You haven't seen the world. You haven't experienced things. You haven't found what your true passion is. Some people like to sit behind a computer and crunch numbers all day and can sit and read a book. I'm not that guy. And there wasn't that school for me available that was readily, counselors weren't pushing me in the direction of, hey, maybe you want to be a tradesman, or you want to learn to build bikes, or go to learn welding first.
What they told me, to give you an idea, oh, you're so good in math, you should do something different. I'm like, no, this is what I want to do. So I told them, hey, I want to do this type of work. I want to be in manufacturing. It's a dirty word for a lot of these counselors.
It is. And, I graduated in 2002, and we were pushed to college. It was go to college, get a career, get your degree, get the piece of paper, and then you'll be set for life, right? And that perception of pushing you in that direction, I'm not a book guy. The first class I sat down at UIC with 400 kids in my calculus class, and I'm staring at nobody's teaching me. I'm a hands-on guy, and you don't know that until you try it. You don't learn that until you get into the class and figure that out.
Yep.
We've had this conversation before with other guests as well, of trying to get the kids in younger, but it's also difficult to get the kids in younger when they don't really know who they are yet, what they loved. Like people like Mike and I, we got the curse. I was breaking apart. I'm sure you're the same.
I got the curse a long time.
The first bike you got, you took it apart and put it back together.
Yep.
Whatever it is, that part of you. But a lot of kids that don't get exposed to either parents that don't have a technical background, maybe they're,
Well, the high school's changed.
It is.
I mean,
yeah.
We're going to do a demonstration in a little bit where we're going to pour some aluminum. Right? And when I went to Lane, I was 14. We did that in Lane. I mean, we made these.
Yep.
We poured these in foundry class.
Yeah.
Now, I came from a family where my two older brothers and my older sister, they all went to school, got advanced degrees. And I was lucky. My parents realized I didn't want to go to school. I knew what I wanted to do was work in a shop. And
they didn't knock you for it. That's the important part, because
my
there's
mom,
an opportunity.
God bless her soul, she realized what I was. She knew where my passion was. But this school gave me some direction of where I wanted to be, whether it was a mechanic, because I can do anything. I worked with a plumber when I was a kid. I could have been a mechanic, but I went into a machine shop and I just liked making stuff. And
Lane doesn't have any of it anymore, though.
It's a shame.
Is it funding, or is it liability? Like can you have a 14-year-old pouring aluminum in Lane Tech anymore without having to sign a release waiver for everybody, and the insurance liabilities through the roof?
I will argue that schools thought, what was it? Leave every child behind. Everyone goes to college. Just all those movements that we've had, that somehow we're moving into a service economy. Now the whole issue with AI.
Yeah.
Those positions, there's the claim that all of this is going away. And I'm like, no, it's not. We've been using AI as part of what we do anyways. You can call it whatever you want, but it's algorithms. and trying to make what we do more efficient. But you're not going to eliminate us for
No.
what we do in our world. But yes, can you eliminate the accounting position? I hate to say that. Can you eliminate the teacher, the gen ed teacher? That's the warning I have for my own group. On the teaching side, the answer is yes. When people can do a lot of self-teaching using these online systems.
Even just YouTube. Think about YouTube.
Oh my
How
God.
many
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
just will watch
YouTube
YouTube?
mechanics.
Oh my gosh.
I got a
I
YouTube
mean,
channel where I've had people say, learn more about XYZ just looking at your channel.
It's funny because even during like the pandemic, we have friends that have a lot of young kids, and I think it was Dr. Khan.
Oh yeah, Khan Academy.
The Khan
Mhm.
Academy just
Yep.
blew up, and every kid was, Miss Rachel's same type of thing. 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have what we have 10 years, 5 years ago. Nowhere near.
Correct.
Even
And
now,
It-
you look at IMTS. We went to IMTS, a machine show in Chicago every 2 years. And in 2024, we bought something like a Cam Assist. And we got it in here, and it's not quite there yet. But I'm dying to see what it is in 2026.
yeah, because this year we'll see the next show.
And by 2028, I got a feeling it's going to reduce programming time by minimum 50%.
Well, on the
think it'll be more
welding
than that.
side as
Yeah,
well
minimum,
as that,
minimum.
Yeah.
you're going to not need to know how to do programming per se because of the assist. Like Claude AI, that came out in 2023, like a personal AI system. And then they created its own little world, agentic, because they started getting personalities. I'm like, no, they want to have them work autonomously. Yeah, the word doesn't come out of my mouth. And now they got one of the things, the mold book. That started January. That started just last month.
I've
and
heard
I'm
about
worried
that. We had one of our first guests, Joe Zoper, who was a car builder and a bike builder down south of here. He was very concerned with AI. That was one of his big concerns that he wanted to talk about, and it's very, very true. And I am of the opinion that by the end of this year, even early next year, we all take for granted what AI is going to do. And the fact they've been warning 5-6 months ago, I watched a video on a bunch of authors that they titled it AI 2026. And the biggest scare is, and I believe that mold book is one of the ones that you're talking about. The AI is actually communicating in a language that
nobody can.
Humans can't understand. Yeah. And that's the scariest step, is when the actual AI begins to communicate in a language that we can't tell it and control it what to and what not to do. And now it's doing its own thing.
It's already posting questions
Posting questions. It's trying to escape and reproduce itself and leave its environment. So I think, AI is really right now, it's scary and it's unknown. As a business owner trying to project out 3 to 5 years, I look at this AI variable and I don't know how anybody can project 3 to 5 years out where you'll be, especially related
it's more
to
like 3 to 5 months.
Well, yeah, okay.
When we think about the exponential Moore's law, when we apply it to processing, the benefit we have is what we do cannot be AI, because AI or that integration requires a completely repeatable item. And what we do and what we're teaching our students to do, I can't speak to other institutions, but over at Triton, we're forcing them to think. We're making them design from scratch. We're teaching them how to deal with troubleshooting by building, not handing them software that they play with, but they're actually engaging with the content physically, because that's what you want to hire.
Well, the best engineers we've ever worked with are engineers that started in a shop.
Yeah.
So you have that foundation of how, less parts are better. How do you make it less? How do you, and still last?
And minimize the number of operations to make the set item. And it's a lot of cool stuff. I mean,
you look at taxis now, Waymo.
Oh yeah.
How many states are they?
Driverless
we
taxis.
saw those. We were just in Phoenix recently. We saw a bunch of those driving on the street, and it's crazy to think.
And you have those robotic porters that go underneath the car.
The DoorDash stuff too, and like the DoorDash
There's a whole
cars,
right. So there's a lot of things the kids cannot go into that they used to think they could go into.
Here's the other thing, though, is
they have to think about us.
So in terms of STEM, though, are you integrating AI into your curriculum?
Yes.
So AI is going to have this thinking capability. Do we dare give the AI robots to then take this consciousness and put it into a robot form?
They're happening already.
It's happening already, but are we adding this into STEM classes. Our kids learning how to
Curriculum-wise,
control AI, and
oh,
we've
they're
had
abusing
Raspberry
it.
Pis years ago. That was like the first level of programming for like high school kids, Raspberry Pis and things like that.
Well, here's the bigger issue. The high school kids are using it to write their papers. I'm happy to see the schools that are eliminating the use of Chromebooks, eliminating the use of technology in the classroom. Because if we do not, I know I sound like a person who was the math teachers from when calculators were being said, hey, let's use those in
You won't
classroom.
have one of those all around you all the time when you're
Right.
Texas Instrument,
Yeah,
PI
right.
52 or whatever.
Yeah, 83.
Right.
Damn right.
But then it's like, now we have people who can't even calculate a tip in their head.
Yeah.
They're financially illiterate. They don't know how to handle their finances, and our debt. If you ever look at that debt counter, is
yeah.
like going through the roof because people do not even understand fiscal engagement. They're lacking.
That's a whole other.
Right, but that's
They don't
because,
write cursor.
right. Well,
No.
exactly, which means they can't read, and because the cursive actually is about wiring the brain to read words. There's a lot missing that has to come back. So I'm happy to hear those schools that have abandoned, I will say, the tech side, because the kids are coming out functionally illiterate.
Well, it's always funny when you watch like apocalyptic movies when AI takes over. What does everybody revert back to? Medieval time style of doing things, forging in a fire,
Back to us.
back to basically just figuring out how to do it without all the technology.
Yeah.
For those of us that are like to work with our hands and are have that critical thinking,
we're good.
We are going to be the most valuable people on the block when their cars don't start, all their Ring cameras don't work anymore. They can't get their checkbook financed, because everything's down. We will be the most popular people on the block.
The world always needs plumbers.
That's true.
And for a long time,
shit rolls downhill. Oops.
Electricians.
Same shit.
Yeah, electricians, carpenters, machinists. I just hope that they shifts enough that colleges like Triton don't have the stigma of, well, it's not a university, because
I think that's the worst.
That's the worst.
That is
the worst advice.
I was part of that because I looked at Oakton when I was going to school. There's a stigma to it. Now, 10 years later, I'm like, I was an idiot for not going to Oakton. I should have gone to Oakton for 2 years, had a great 2-year education, close to home.
Learn how to weld, whatever you want to.
I know. But as a kid, again, and we're kind of going back to this, as a 16-year-old making logical decisions, not listening to your parents, not being told what to do just to do it.
Parents don't understand.
Well, yeah.
That's our
parents are
challenge
the
right
ones
now.
pushing them into college.
And the counselors, the advisors.
Forget about
I had to
it.
argue with my older son tooth and nail about, no, you're not going to university first because there's no value in doing that.
Yeah.
What's the return on investment? What's ROI?
Do you want to sign a $60,000
loan
for your first year of school to take 4 classes? Why?
20 years worth of debt for what purpose? That's one of my students said, who came out of university and came back to us. I love the way he put it, which is, I have a $40,000 car loan for a car I don't have. Because that's really what we're talking about. They have these loans for these degrees that they don't necessarily complete, because they realize the financial burden, they can't handle it. And then I see them, but by then they're already...
Well, the other thing now you see is perpetual students. They get out of school with, $200,000 of debt, and they go for a masterate and a doctorate or whatever, because you don't have to pay those loans back until you come out of school. So now you've got people that are perpetually picking up more and more degrees, and by the time they're 35, 36, they got 7 degrees and they're overqualified for everything. They're never they'll be working at a university as an assistant, research assistant, hopefully, or
But that's the challenge, and it's like how to teach people. And then, like our world, getting your certificate is what I always recommend. Get in the field, whatever it is, automotive, machining, I don't care what it is, electrical. Start with a certificate, get out there, sit for the different exams with the different unions. And while you're waiting for your name to get called, because that's usually a 2-year type cycle, it's not a 2-hour thing when it comes to getting into a union. It's more like a 2-year thing. Go work in the field, finish the rest of your education, allow yourself to have the complete mobility of doing the deed with the options to do something later.
They still doing like career day. You bring in machinists into the class, or you bring the class to a shop to see. I
Sometimes,
mean, that's
yeah,
seeing is
we're
worth seeing
starting,
is
yeah.
believing. Kind of, you know, you can read everything in a book, you can listen to your teacher all day, but unless you bring bring a group to a place like this and show them what it is.
We gotta get the grade school kids to come
Oh,
in.
I'd love to have.
That's the ticket.
I
There
right
think
isn't-
that would be one of the coolest things. You know, again, the liability issues of everything when you make sure everybody's.
Bingo.
there isn't a
buttoned
shop
squared.
owner or the fellow that was here, Dale, a little while ago, owns 22 Midas. Everybody needs that employee, that young, whether he's young or middle-aged or even old, that they need them. There's millions of jobs out there waiting to be filled, and they're all not middle income, upper middle income
Correct. And that's the
salaries.
challenge. People don't get or understand that part. And then they're like, "Oh, I want to make 100,000 the first year." I'm like, "No, you're not going to make 100,000 the first year in this job." I had one gentleman who was an accountant, and he's like, "I don't like accounting. I really liked working with my hands." So I said, "Fine, keep working. Take classes with us at night. When the opportunity presents itself, you're going to have to shift." And that opportunity presented themselves in sales and service parts for a manufacturer, where he used his accounting while getting that position because he needed to understand numbers very well. And I'm like, you can dovetail what you've been doing
Yeah.
and be able to pretty much, it'll take maybe about 2 years or so to kind of meet where you were.
Mhm.
But as long as you're flexible, take a little bit of a hit sometimes and then go forward. But again, that goes back to, do they know how to save money? Do they understand that going to a coffee shop every day is not worth it? Are they paying themselves first? There's a whole financial lack of literacy that comes with why we're having these issues.
Every employer just wants the same thing. They want somebody who wants.
Yeah, bingo.
They want a better life, a better living, a better whatever it is.
Yeah.
And if you find that guy that wants, chances are you can train him to be that electrician or that
Correct.
plumber or that machinist. That's all we look for, is somebody who
Exactly.
wants.
And that's what I'm looking for. I feel like a matchmaker most of the time. I like to say my favorite 2 days are when you get employed in this order, and then when you finish your certificate or degree. But the key is to get you out there in the field, because you don't come to school just to be in a classroom. And I even tell my students the entire semester is an interview, because I'm checking whether or not I want you in a company. Do you have the right attitude? Do you take things the right approach to what we're doing? Are you coming in on time? Are you putting in the effort? Because that's what I want to
That's just
send
being
to
adult.
you.
That's just being adult skills. That's not.
They're lacking that.
Well,
I'm just
I don't
being
disagree
honest.
with you, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying that's
yeah.
non-engineering, non-manufacturing related. That's an
Yeah.
entire generational issue.
Oh,
of,
yeah.
of-
I'm dealing with it
Yeah.
every day. And
Well, I-
that's the good ones is who I send to you guys.
yeah.
Well, I think the same teacher we both had was a teacher by name of Mr. Vivekis, Mr.
Yep.
V. And he was probably my best teacher
Yeah,
ever.
Ditto.
Because he understood, he saw he could see what you wanted to be.
Yep.
And he never pushed you into college or this. He tried to help. He was a
Right.
good mentor all the way around.
Exactly. At him and Mr. Markison, those two. Mr. Markison taught commercial art, but he taught commercial art the proper way, if you really want to make a paycheck. So he's very picky with our work from a commercial art sales perspective, not from an artist perspective. Between those two teachers, him and Mr. V, those two teachers taught me a lot about the importance of taking work seriously, doing the right thing, and paying attention to what you like. And that's what he did for me. Was my senior year, I worked for Janet Kaiser, the owner of Century Metal, when it was in the city. And that's when I said, yeah, this is what I want. I worked on the shop floor. I was happy. I enjoyed it. I did not realize I made more than most of my friends. Not that I talked money with anybody, but I was like, this is interesting. And I enjoyed what I did. Working with my hands was mission critical.
Yeah.
If you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your
Yeah, I
life.
agree.
Bingo.
That's my motto too. Yeah.
Bingo.
Um,
So obsessed is where I fit.
obsessed in terms of the curse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in the obsessed curse.
So we've added a couple, if you haven't seen these, so we've added a couple new tricks to the show. Later on, we're going to talk about some projects that we're working on with Antigone and the rest of our live crew here, our live audience. We're going to have them grade us on how cursed we are, how obsessed we are, or if we're just normal in terms of behavior for some of the projects that we're working on. And as Mike, we all took the tour.
For us, it is normal.
Yeah,
It's everybody else looks
yeah,
at us
exactly. I
like,
think
what
you're
the
crazy. I
heck's
think everybody else
going
is
on?
crazy. And
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
just,
we're fine.
yeah. I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
Yeah, it's not us.
It's not my
We're
problem.
fine.
So we took the tour, and you obviously saw the massive amounts of both machining technology and art that we do around here in the shop.
Shall we
Hot
talk
rods.
about what you guys are doing?
we
You
could,
got a
yeah.
pretty cool chart.
Yeah.
Well, I was reviewing,
that comes, yeah.
and I love the tags.
Oh yeah. Well, I was an engineer for 20 years, and I got pushed into project management.
That's all
very early
project
on.
management.
Yeah, so when you get into the project management, you start running these Gantt charts and all this other good
Mhm.
stuff, and it kind of
Yep.
just sits in your head and sticks down there.
That's what the other thing we make our students do. They have to do Gantt charts, cost sheets, because at the end of the day, a business doesn't exist to just exist. They got to make some kind of money.
You have to have a plan. You
Yeah.
have to have some way to track things. When I was an engineer, we were doing Gantt charts and we were following the toll gate system and everything, and that's great. But the toll gate system, you get locked into things, and
Correct.
it gets,
That's where the challenge
you
comes
start
from.
fighting with what ones you really need to do.
Yep.
But for the projects that Mike and I were working on here, we needed something. We've got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, probably about 20 something little tags here. And these are all tags and projects that Mike and I have either started. Some of our projects that Mike already started. Some are projects that I've brought along with me when I started working here. And some are combined stuff that we just come in on a Tuesday morning and Mike's like, I saw this, and I'm like, I think you have the same Facebook I have because I saw the same thing, and then it adds to the list.
Yep.
Number of different things. We got hot rods that we're working on here. We've got aluminum bead rolled panels. We've got sculpture and artwork, and some of the projects that we were working on this week were the Bigfoot truck, which you saw it all taken apart over there. We have a Marathon Speed Shop sign that is sitting up in the front there. It's a cool laser cut sign that we're gonna put up here in the shop, and then later on we're gonna do an aluminum pour. As you can see, we've got a number of other things. We did the Rubens tube earlier. You saw that. We're going to do that in another episode. We'll feature that. But the Rubens tube, I'm assuming as an engineer, you could appreciate the resonance and the science behind that. That was always a fun one. Everybody gets to see that. Our curse is kind of keeping things organized. So, or at least my curse
Not
is
mine. I'm the most unorganized fucking person in this room.
My curse is,
And
yeah.
Keeping him organized.
My curse, yeah.
I mean, it comes down to me is I saw something cool. Work's got to come first because that pays the lighting,
Pays the bills.
and then let's make the Rubens tube.
Well,
And I
And
can
that all
stop
happens-
everything.
And that all happens within about an 8-hour time span.
yeah, dovetail this
And-
project into those.
And some of them
Exactly.
are gonna. We want to change the format of the show a little bit so that we have a guest, and then we talk about maybe a finished project that week, one that's coming up, and one that's going to take longer. 'Cause some are going to take.
Some could take years. I mean, we could be working on this Dodge for a year and a half. Hopefully not, but we could be.
Yeah.
We could be working on your gasser for a year. Who knows?
Yeah,
So
it doesn't matter.
Things take time, and
And
you can't rush it either.
can't rush it.
Good things don't come with speed.
And there's always something in between. So
Exactly.
that's the cool part.
Well, it's also us and our squirrel. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, what do you have? What are we building now? Oh, we got a Fiat we can work on. Okay, let's work on that a
Squirrel.
little bit. So
I mean, that is
Exactly.
one of the fun things of working with Kevin is because I am pretty loosey-goosey as far as, except for the shop. I mean, business, so I'm focused 100% there. But everything else, I free flow it. And
Yeah.
Kevin is like, well, you see.
I have a sickness.
Bingo.
I have a sickness. I am cursed. By the way, thank you for all of our subscribers that have been following, liking, commenting. Please continue to do that. That's what makes sure the show gets picked up. That's what's going to make sure that we're going to be successful with what we're trying to do here. We're not just doing this to say we did it. This is something that Mike and I
We
hold
want to
very.
teach also.
Yeah,
we want teachers
We want to
to be
talk
on.
to.
Yeah, already hit you up on that one.
Yeah, we want to bring this type of discussion to the foreground. Everything else, the stuff we see on TV and on YouTube these days is a bitch and moan fest. And maybe this turns into a bitch and moan fest, but at the end of the day, we want to bring this type of environment in this world to viewers, and we hope you enjoy that. And
If it becomes a bitch and moan fest, I'm a bitch.
I don't want to moan. I'm not a moaner. So we'll start off with our Bigfoot here.
That was my first truck when I opened. I had the truck before I opened the shop, and We unfortunately just ruined the truck over time, moving things we
Well, it's a
shouldn't
shop
have.
truck. Yeah,
Too
it's a
It's a
shop
heavy.
truck. You were
Yeah.
moving
Heavy items.
You name it. We moved everything.
granite and marble in the back of that thing. You had all kinds
Beams.
of stuff.
Killed the suspension, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So it was sitting in the back here, and we decided what the best way to do it was how are we going to get it up to the front?
Forklift it.
Forklift it.
Lift it up.
Okay. So Stanley came out, and probably in terms of you get an F1 race car driver and you got Stanley and a forklift, and I would take
Superstash.
Stanley. I would take Superstash any day of the
Yeah,
week.
Superstash.
He controlled this forklift to a T and safely got us all the way around to the front of the shop. We had to make sure no mice were jumping out. You know,
Yeah,
on it.
he
Clean it,
shook it.
shook it up a couple times. Make sure to hit every pothole and bump along the way.
Hmm.
We'll get it around the corner here. This was the tightest spot. Nothing fell out, thankfully, and nobody.
That's the curse.
The curse.
Curse.
That's
And
all
it's
right.
not signs falling off our table. If you saw our last episode, the sign fell off the table, and then we built this table because of that.
But we got the truck in, we dismantled it, cut it up, got the frame off of it, and we're going to build a substructure behind it and cut it into thirds and throw the center of the truck out and take the driver's side and the passenger side, same as we did on the 55 on the wall, put them on two different walls facing two different directions and paint them two different colors.
One going north, one going
One
south.
going north, one south, yeah.
And then, so Mike has a Mike Speed Shop sign that he loves, but it's not in Mike's Speed Shop. It's in the machine shop.
And the precision side, yeah.
Mike Speed.
Martin stole it. That's
So
why
Martin-
my son-in-law.
Martin stole it. So we're gonna make Mike a Marathon Speed Shop sign for his sign. So we got to working on the Trump laser, which by the way is one of the nicest tools that
It
Mike
is
has
such a
offered
cool
up in
tool.
terms of access to in the shop here. Because if you can dream it, you can cut it on this thing.
Yep.
And it is
2,000 inches a minute. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nuts.
So we've got it all cut out. We've got the blanks cut out. We're gonna get to assembling that this week and welding the frame together. So that's one of the other
That's another one.
projects that we're
Don't
working
worry
on.
about curtains next time.
Curtains
Yeah.
next time, yeah.
Staple-
Good idea.
Staple
Curtains.
curtains. Poof.
And so the other project that we want to talk about, I have a project that I was working on earlier this week. So Mike met me at the World of Wheels. I'm a bead roller. That's kind of how I started getting into this side of things. I was an engineer for 20 years. And then I bought a bead roller because I was working on a car at home making floor pans for my car. So I bought the tool, which is this tool you see behind me. That's not
There
mine,
you
but it's
go.
very similar to that.
Yep.
And I bought that tool in order to make my panels, but I've always been an artistic person.
I personally believe that engineers are artists. It's just they don't realize
That
they
I
go hand in hand.
yes,
I think the
certain
best
certain
engineers are.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not all engineers are artists, and not all. They have.
I've worked with so many.
Yeah,
that are.
there are some that are just so finite to detail that the art will never.
And those
Here.
are
Those
the bridge builders of the world.
Those are the guys you want
Yeah.
when the microns are critical in building
Yeah.
spaceships. That's
Yeah.
the guy I want building spaceships. I don't need him building me a piece of art wall for my house. But I had a client reach out to me, and I typically don't do photos. Like it's difficult to take a photo and to try and bring that. So what bead rolling does is it embosses. It's basically a two dies and they're separated, and it'll lift and shape the material in a way that raises and gives you this. You can catch the light. It's an embossing. This client reached out to me and asked if I could make a panel for a friend whose dog died. And he sent me a number of photos, and I was flipping through the photos, and this photo came up, and it had his collar in it. What I could do is I could figure out a way to integrate his collar if he still have his collar.
Yeah.
And when I make art, I like it to be personal. That's the difference I think between an engineer and an artist is whenever I create a piece, I'm trying to find something that is you're going to find that detail, you're going to find that piece that nobody else is really going to understand. When I did this, I integrated his collar in there, and then on the back side, we've got his photo, and we've got nice little engraved messages and things like that.
Gotcha.
So
and that's Kevin's company.
so five
Five
stitches design and fabrication is my company, and that there's an interesting story behind how that started. I ended up with 5 stitches in my forehead working on that same car,
Bingo.
and so that was my Doc Brown moment when I
Mhm.
decided I wanted to do this. So something like this, these panels take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on the detail to get, the layered technique. But I also have a panel here that I just recently finished that I've got about 12 hours worth
wow.
of
Isn't that beautiful?
bead rolling in
Nope.
just the face, and then it's been polished. and then I went back and did engine turning. So engine turning is an old school manufacturing technique, mostly done for decoration, but went back and engine turned in a spiral to make it almost look like she's looking at a sun or something like that. But this is my wife will tell you that I don't have any patience. Mike tells me that I have all the patience in the world after he
God.
looks at this. I don't know if I have. I have patience for the things that I
That's
truly love to do, right?
correct.
But so these are some of the projects I was working on this last week.
We got a fun one right now. We worked on this a little bit during the week. And like I say, every time we do an episode, we want to try to show something we're working on, something that may be a long project, a short project, and a project we can show finished that day. And this is a fun one because it brings us back to our high school days where we poured some aluminum. Again, we were doing this when we were 14. We have to go get it out of the furnace right now. So it's going to take a minute or two to get everything
So
set
while
up.
you go get it, I'll set everything up and I'll explain what these are. So what we're doing is these are water beads for vases, flowers. We dumped these into a 30-gallon garbage can, probably 3
Yeah.
bags of these, and we put a bunch of water in it and we let it just rise into a bubble tea ball soup of water and water beads. And what we're going to do is take that hot aluminum and dump it right in, see what happens.
Very
I'm going to
good.
help Mike get it.
And it's really liquid.
Yeah, that is really liquidy.
Now this is where the curse comes in, because you wake up at 2 o'clock in the fucking morning and you come up with an idea and you can't wait to build it. Okay, that's good.
Crank that
Okay,
up.
everybody, yeah,
wanna
you
crank
guys
that?
kind of stay away.
Antigone?
Aluminum melts around 1350, 1400, and I hit it up to about 1600.
Okay.
It's really liquidy.
Tell
Keep
me
going.
when.
Up,
Keep
up,
going.
up,
Yep.
up,
So
up,
we'll get the card out from underneath it.
up, up, up. Okay. Okay.
Or roll this
Yeah,
forward.
go around it. Up, a little bit up.
Crank it up a little.
Okay.
Is that high enough?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good. Whoop.
Oh.
All right. Up, 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 up. Okay, stop, down. Okay, maybe back up a little bit. Ooh, that's hot.
There. A steam bath for you, Mike.
Get my hair curled.
Yeah, you get to open up all your follicles and your exfoliation. Look at all the beads everywhere.
How nice that
That's
is.
a good
huh?
one.
All right, let's get another one
All
while
right.
it's still nice and hot.
The garbage can. All right. Okay.
Is that close enough?
Yep.
Come forward a little bit. Up, 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 up. Gotta be careful.
Running through.
Yeah, it doesn't, that's good.
Like Terminator 2.
You want to get it up off the bottom before it hits the bottom of the bucket. And we got a million beads on the floor.
And molten aluminum.
Ooh, this is
That's
a cool,
one. Look at that one. Probably enough to make one more.
Is there? Let's
might
do
be.
one more.
Might be.
Here.
That's cool. Ooh, there's a piece down there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's a little chunker. It's a souvenir for one of our in-audience guests. Right?
Yep, that's gonna be a little guy.
So we're pays to be tall.
Oh yeah. All
That's
right,
it.
that's it. Party's over. Now, can you imagine 14-year-old in high school doing this? But I'll tell you what, it was a great foundation.
Yep.
And so now as these dry, so what the balls do is they absorb all the moisture in the water, obviously. And so as the aluminum contacts the balls, you're going to see them start to shrink and pop off because they're basically evaporating. The water's evaporating. So the balls will shrink back down to size and fall out of all these little pockets. And then you end up with this really cool aluminum looking coral. And Mike's going to bring one over here now.
Here's another example.
That, yeah, these are ones that are finished
Yep.
without
Sure.
all of the balls inside of them. You can kind of tell, you know, you could, if somebody really had the patience and the time, you could polish this up pretty good, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Maybe like a light bead blasting or a blast more than an actual abrasion and kind of grinding. But we've had one of your buddies, you said, put some lights through
Oh
this.
yeah,
And
little LED lights.
I mean, these are pretty unique, and obviously no two will ever be alike, right?
No,
you're always going to make something unique.
I woke up one night and I remembered I grew up working in a drugstore, and next to it was a florist, and they had these. So I came to work and we welded up a ladle real quick, turned the furnace on, and let her rip, tater chip.
We haven't done our new grading system yet. We'll save this one for last.
But that's all these things are. It's pretty cool.
Are they reusable?
Yeah, we've used that same bucket now for probably six pieces like this.
That's great.
All right, so now what we're going to do, we want to ask the crowd and our audience. So for our first project that we shared, the Bigfoot project, bringing that from the back, cutting it up, and you can kind of see it's been through a chop shop over here. Do you consider that to be normal behavior, obsessed, or cursed? All right,
I'd say normal.
Obsessed and cursed.
No,
Okay.
we're not gonna,
I agree with that. I think that kind of falls in line. Wait till you see it mounted on the wall, then we'll be really cursed. The second project, our marathon speed shop sign, is that considered normal, obsessed, or cursed?
Obsessed, because we had.
I would say that was more normal. I would put that
Normal?
more. That's day to day. That's kind of
Me
day to
too.
day stuff. I think around here.
To me, that's obsessed because it's for my company.
Yeah. Okay. It's a fine
know?
line. There's a gray area. All right. The bead rolling art. Is that something you think I'm
This?
normal, obsessed, or cursed with? Oh,
Cursed.
I'm cursed with that.
This one's
okay.
cursed.
All right.
100%.
All right. I like that.
I like it.
I'm glad to be cursed. That's the one curse I'd pick.
Happy to have.
All right. And as the final one, then our aluminum pour. What would that be? Was you consider that normal? Did you wake up this morning and think that you were going to see someone pouring aluminum into a garbage bin? Not
This
normal, right? Yeah.
thing is
We're pretty cursed.
big.
All right. So I guess
Yeah.
the audience has ruled for themselves. We definitely are cursed, certifiably.
I love it.
Well,
And that's the fun of it, is if you see the curse is anything you think or see that's cool, you want to make.
I make it.
And
Exactly.
if you're talented, if you work, even if you're not talented, but if you have the drive,
if you see something and you want to take it apart and you want to just see what
Yep.
yeah.
there's all you can do is put it back together.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Hopefully it works.
But Antigone, we wanted to thank you very much for
Thank
being
you.
part of our show. It was
Thanks
an
for having
awesome
me. That's
conversation.
awesome.
Bring some of your students.
Yeah,
you
bring,
know.
yeah, we'd love to
Happy
have
to do
this,
that.
bring them on a field trip, or we can come. I'd love to start getting.
I think we need to do this aluminum thing with the kids.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because I think they need to see the art in engineering. I run a summer camp called Art and Engineering.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I don't believe they understand our world is creative, very creatively driven,
Mhm.
and they just think it's math classes. So, and that's not true.
It's not.
No, I mean, that's the boring end
That's
of
the
it.
boring.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
fun
It's
end of it
necessary,
is
but-
It's
making
necessary. You have to go through it,
Yeah.
but I haven't done differential equations since I left UIC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've had that conversation with people. The amount of math that's covered in academia land versus the amount that's actually utilized is two different conversations. And
As long as you can
we
know where you can go get the information
Bingo.
And AI
how to
is gonna
use the
take care of
information
all of
once you
that.
found it.
I got news for
If
you.
you can look it up in a textbook and then you can
Yep.
apply those equations, the
Yep.
formulas, that's the core part of it. It's not the memorization of it. It's not knowing constants and things like that. It's not being a steel trap. It's knowing how to use them the right way.
And that's what's so interesting to me. I'll have so many students over the years. I've been at this game a long time, and I'll have students that have taken the calculus, but they've never applied it. So they don't even know that we're doing it.
Yeah.
I use math in my shop every day, and it's not college level math. You know, I mean, right now all the softwares do almost all the thinking for you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Bring
Thank
some
you.
students. I hope
Bet.
you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you guys for
Thank you.
being our part of our first live studio audience.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching The Curse. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends.
Any ideas?
Yeah. What is the
I brag if we can make anything. Game on.
Yeah,
That's right.
Send us a message. Send us drop us a line of we want to see you make this. We saw you aluminum pour. All right, do. Who knows what's next? I can't even compare. We're gonna.
I got a lot.
We've got a pretty good list to go with.
Yeah.
I got
a list.
This. I don't sleep.
Yeah.
I got a whole list.
Well, what I really like to do is do a zero tolerance EDM, like geometric design where you get basically a cube that'll flatten in and you see no seams.
Easy.
Wow.
That's not hard.
That's okay.
I mean, that's not hard.
Let's do
I have
it.
Sodix.
Next on The Curse.
Sodix. No negotiation.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Thanks again.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Like and subscribe.
Turn the heat on.
Thank you.
Yeah, my arm's
Literally.
cold.